Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, everything I say in reaction to this show is completely speculative based on very limited information and should be taken as such. All right, let's watch.
This pandemic, and so she was generous enough to help my family out. I was expecting that was from the heart, you know? I feel if my fiancé is trying to control me and my family because of her money, then I would have to break it off. That's not a healthy relationship, you know?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why we tend to avoid money arrangements between friends and family members, because it creates the potentiality of a argument like this and a misunderstanding or some hurt feelings. It sounds like Stephanie was giving the family a lot of money, and it sounds like the family was appreciative. It sounds like there was some kind of conflict between them, and now Stephanie's digging in and saying, I need respect, I need a thanks for that money, and I'm guessing the family, including Ryan, are saying, we're not your slaves. Just because you gave us money doesn't mean that you can demand that we do things. So, yeah, this is a pretty rough situation. Now, it can be navigated. It has to be with open heart and listening to each other. I'm guessing that if they were to just sit down and talk, his mom and Stephanie, I'm guessing that they could work it out. So maybe they will.
I've been checking in with Maria, and she has reminded me about what the cards have said about Ryan.
This is not necessarily the best card in the deck. The Chariot. There is another woman around him.
So I don't know anything about tarot, but a lot of people in the comments, to that episode of me reacting to that were saying that this woman was not reading this tarot card correctly. I don't know if that's accurate or inaccurate, but I just want to acknowledge that a lot of people were pointing that out.
Remember, we had a little phone conference with her. One thing I never told you is that she did say that she sees us getting married. She sees you coming to the United States, but also that she saw you leaving me for a younger woman.
Okay, so there's another way to communicate this if you're Stephanie, which is something like, so honey, I just want to let you know that I love you a lot and I hope the best for us, but I'm still a little insecure and I'm not quite sure about our future regarding if you're going to stay in love with me. I'm just worried about that. And I just wanted you to know that. Is there anything you can tell me that would make me feel better? There's also a certain amount of normalcy to that feeling. They have had an extremely chaotic relationship, according to their description. So for Stephanie to believe that they are 100% secure would be delusional. And so sometimes you just have to live with that. And sometimes people will ask me, they'll email me, I don't trust my partner. What should I do? And they'll say, we've been going out for 6 months and I feel insecure. And part of that is getting healing and therapy. Part of that is communicating with your spouse. And part of that is choosing the right person, frankly. But another part of that is just recognizing that you can't trust people until you have enough time with them. That trust happens over time. Trust isn't something that you just have for someone. If you don't trust, sometimes people will say, I've gone to therapy for 3 sessions, but I don't feel comfortable yet. I don't trust my therapist yet. So on one hand, you could say, well, generally you can trust your therapist. Your therapist is trained. They know what they're doing. So you can trust them. But on the other hand, it's delusional to trust someone after 3 sessions. You don't really know someone. I trust my wife because I've known her for years and I know who she is, and she has proven herself to be very consistent with who she is and what she does and how she feels about me. And there's been very little disruption in that. And so I very much trust her. I didn't trust her in the first week. I didn't trust her in the first 6 months. I mean, I trusted her on a certain level, but not as much as I do now. And in another, 20, 30 years, I will trust her even more. Why? Because I'll have more experience with her. So for Stephanie, it's totally fine that she doesn't trust him and that she's worried about that. Doesn't mean he's up to no good. It just means that there's been chaos and they're kind of starting over to some extent right now. So she is essentially saying, my psychic is saying that you are going to cheat on me. Now, how is he going to respond? Let's watch.
I respect Maria as your friend and you're into this type of psychic stuff, you know, but I don't believe in it. I'm not a fan of it, you know that. I believe psychic is something to do with the devil. That's like a devil word.
Okay, that's fine, and a lot of people believe that, actually. So it's not uncommon for someone to believe that. But at the same time, if you're Ryan, you got to intuit what's happening right here. We're not talking about a psychic. What we're talking about is Stephanie's worries about the security of the relationship. So hopefully Ryan will be able to intuit that, or Stephanie will be able to communicate that.
No one knows your future.
But she's gotten things sometimes right on the nose as far as names, as far as dates. So it's just tough when she tells me that she sees us getting married and then you leaving me for a younger woman.
I mean, it's just such a weird way to communicate your insecurities. Just be more direct, Stephanie. You're essentially asking him to believe this woman that he's never met, looking at tarot cards and telling him that she knows what he's going to do in his future. He doesn't believe that. What's he supposed to do here? He's supposed to say, I've already told you I don't agree with this psychic, so I don't know what to say. So let's see if either one of them can get to the heart of the matter again, which is Stephanie's insecure, and that's fine. She can say, I am unsure if you really love me. I'm unsure if you're cheating on me. I don't know. I don't have any direct indication right now, but I'm just worried. Can we talk about it? Nothing wrong with that.
How do I defend myself against a psychic coming reading? She doesn't know me.
No, she doesn't know you, but
So
she picks up on I'm just
feel-
telling you.
I feel like you've been talking to her about me, and then she's using what she knows about me and trying to reverse and say, oh. And
I don't give her any
yeah,
information.
you know?
I'm telling you.
I don't
dude.
think.
So this is not going well. This is what we call a triangulation. You've heard me talk about this before. So when you have tension between two people and they don't have the ability to differentiate, meaning they don't have the ability to differentiate between their feelings and their thoughts, and they don't have the ability to differentiate between self and other people, and they have a hard time managing the balance between togetherness and separateness, and they have a lot of anxiety about being rejected and left alone. They have anxiety about being engulfed and accused, and all that anxiety is causing a lot of tension and fear and franticness and panic. And when you're in a conflict like this and both people are undifferentiated, then the tendency is to draw in a third, to pull in a third element to alleviate the anxiety. Because if you're going to fight with each other, then things might explode. It's easier to fight about a third thing. And what the two of them right now are fighting about this psychic person. The real problem is between Stephanie and Ryan, right? That the two of them have cheated on each other, the two of them have hurt each other, and the two of them are unsure about each other. Particularly Stephanie is unsure about Ryan. And so instead of talking about that directly and admitting and taking responsibility for your own feelings, which would be fine, the two of them are bringing in this third element, this psychic, and now Stephanie is bringing the psychic in as an ally and saying, well, she said that you are going to cheat on me, so what am I going to do? And then now he is trying to attack the psychic. Instead of saying, let's forget about the psychic. Let's just talk directly. Tell me what you're worried about. So let's see. I'm guessing that's not going to happen, but let's continue watching.
Also, she did say that she sees your mother pressuring you to want to have a baby so that you might end up with someone else besides me, maybe a coworker.
Honey, we already had this talk before. It's not everything that my mom says I listen to. I don't want no kids, you know?
Okay, good. Ryan actually intuited the real issue, that because all Stephanie is saying is, this psychic said a thing about you. Stephanie's not saying anything about herself in that statement. She's saying the psychic said a bunch of terrible things about you, which is a total triangulation, right? And he intuited. Instead of attacking the psychic, he's like, okay, I think Stephanie wants me to reassure her. No, I don't want children. And if my mom did tell me not to be with you, I'm not going to listen to her necessarily. So I'm guessing that might reassure Stephanie a little bit. Let's watch.
We're going to do a lot of traveling. I want to travel the world.
But it's your mom that you look to for advice.
I would always take my mom's advice, but having a kid, that's one advice I would not take. I don't want, you know, I'm not for no babies right now. She knows that.
Well, yeah, but did you just hear what you said? You're not for any babies right now.
Yikes. So Stephanie is just looking for any excuse, to fight with him? Any excuse to grab onto regarding her insecurity? Any excuse to fight with him? Any excuse to put him down? He did a pretty good job of, getting through the BS and saying, okay, I think she wants me to say the following. Let's rewind that. And then he did. And then she picked out the only possible little thing that could be scrutinized, and I'm guessing it's not going to go well, but let's rewind that and just see how when we are set on a particular outcome and we're undifferentiated and we're worried, we will look for confirmation of what we're worried about. Let's watch.
I would always take my mom advice, but having a kid, that's one advice I would not take. I don't want, I'm not for no babies right now. She knows that.
Well, yeah, but did you just hear what you said? You're not for any babies right now.
Honey, what part of I don't want no babies you don't understand, honey?
You just said right, but you said right now. That's
Yikes. So she is looking for what? I don't know what she's looking for. Now, I suspect she has a ton of trauma that is being triggered frequently just by being in a relationship. That's my guess. I don't know. But this interaction is very telling in that he actually did intuit what she was trying to say and said all the right things, I think. I mean, I don't know if I would have said it the way he said it, of course, but he was addressing the problem. No, let me reassure you. And let me even give you evidence as to why I don't want kids. I want to travel the world. I want to travel the world with you. And I don't want to have kids. I don't want kids weighing me down, that kind of attitude he's saying. And, my mom, sure, she has her thoughts, but, I'm not going to change my mind on kids because my mom influences me. He was saying all that. And she's essentially saying, you're a liar because you said right now. And he said right now because it was a phrase that he just slipped in there. It's a phrase you would say like, I'm not going to the moon right now. It's just kind of like just a little phrase you throw in, I'm guessing. But she doubles down and he did a pretty good job. He stayed differentiated and said, what part of I don't want to have kids do you not understand? I do not want to have kids. And then she keeps at it. So what I would do if I was him would be like, okay, I feel like you're determined to believe that I want kids even though I'm saying I don't. So I don't know what to say because I keep saying I don't want to have kids, but you keep believing that I do. And so all I can tell you is I don't want to have kids. So I don't know what else to say. Maybe he would say that. I don't know. Let's continue watching.
His head, but that's not one of my cars to go to the United States and leave you. I'm with a gorgeous woman. I always want to rock your boat. You know that. I always want to rock your boat.
Okay. So he is, I think, intuiting what she wants to hear, what her insecurities are. So if he believes that, this is good. This is actually a reparative conversation for them, which we haven't really seen from them. So, if he really believes that, then this is a good intuition that he has. Even though he's being berated and accused of all these things, he, stood his ground without attacking back and reassured her. And I think she's being reassured in this moment.
Hey, Ryan, are you afraid of the truth, Ryan? Why would you do that to me? With whose money? Ryan.
Wait, what happened? So they said 4 hours later, and they're yelling at each other. So I don't know what's happening here.
Off and die, Ryan.
Next time on...
What? We gotta wait till next week to find out. I feel bad for them. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, the audio podcast, you can do so now on your phone. You can go to Spotify or any podcast app and subscribe to the podcast. We have over 1,000 episodes where we go in depth on a lot of different issues. So you can do that now, Psychology in Seattle, if you want to. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.